Oh, I'm getting old. Welcome to Reality is Undefeated. I'm at Gatewood. Thank you for tuning in. My wife sent me something that she wanted me to react to a couple weeks ago. And like most things my wife tells me to do, it takes a couple weeks for me to get to it. All right. So let's jump into this. I'm going to let the whole thing play through, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts on the end. Where we at with it? Let's go.
So back to child support. I think the solution is this, and I'm out your way. 2 years. Young woman gets pregnant as a teenager, young man and woman get pregnant. This is the 2-year plan. First 2 years are debt-free. You don't have to pay the government anything back. So she doesn't get to drag him into court and the court doesn't say, you owe us money for investing in your child through food programs, through early Head Start programs. Because in those 2 years, the boy has the option, or not even the option, he has the demand of the co-man to then go to a trade school. You have to go to a trade school, which incentivizes the United States to do it, because we need more tradespeople. We don't have enough carpenters, we don't have enough electricians, we don't have enough people building roads. In my community, the girls are going to college and graduating. They have no men to marry because the boys are not going to college in the same way. My teachers were married to a tradesman. My teacher, who we call doctor, her husband owned a locksmith company. Her husband was a carpenter, was a mechanic. So they had a good life. Their kids went to school, right, the same schools we went to. I think that the incentive to solving the child support problem and a part of solving our infrastructure problem is to incentivize young boys who have gotten a girl pregnant. You must now go through 2 years of trade school.
Well, wait a minute. So, okay, I like what you're saying.
Let me give you the rest of the answer first.
Okay, go ahead.
After that boy graduates, you get a further incentive if you and the girl marry. If you and the girl marry, we'll give you these incentives: zero finance home loans, something out of HUD besides an apartment with a leaky faucet and rats and roaches in it, but incentivize marriage, which then strengthens our community, the black community, and strengthens the greater community, because now you have more American marriages, you have people with stronger financial stability, and you have tradespeople married to women of education, and you begin to recreate communities like what Auburn Avenue was, what Edgewood was. I believe you could do this from the executive order, because the money that funnels down from the feds through the states to help mothers, then it can be attached, well, we're not only helping mothers, we're helping fathers too. If a boy gets a woman pregnant, not only does she receive TANF, I see your face, right? Good idea. If a woman receives TANF, she receives this, the boy now has a must. You're federally required now to go to trade school. And in those 2 years, what you put out on the other side is a person who's trained, a person who has an incentive to marry, and a person who becomes a taxpayer and not just a taker of tax.
First off, shout out to Killer Mike for having an idea. All right. I want to make sure I say that because I think it's important that we throw ideas out there when we do have them. Now, I don't completely agree with his idea, but, him throwing it out there allows me to come behind it and throw 2 cents on it. And that allows you guys to come behind me and finally tune it. And that's how problems get solved in our communities. That's how decisions get made, in our city councils, so on and so forth. It just starts with an idea and everybody running from there. I also want to say that I like the approach, taking one small thing and finding a solution for that. Okay. No, it doesn't solve the entire problem, doesn't solve the larger problem. But when you solve enough small problems, it makes solving the larger problem a lot more manageable. OK, you can actually see a path to doing it at that point. So, again, I like the approach. Now, let me get to it. Well, I agree with the incentives. I disagree on the mandates. I don't like the idea of forcing anyone to do anything, especially going to trade school. Let me be very clear. Trade school doesn't teach people trades. Trade school teaches people about the trades. You learn a trade on the job. And I think I can speak for all tradesmen when I say this. The very last person that you want on a job site is someone that doesn't want to be there. That becomes an immediate safety hazard, one that moves around and touches things. Our work environments are dangerous, to put it mildly. You have to be present in it, very attentive, not just with your surroundings, but with your actual work. You don't want half-ass work being done. That's how people get hurt. That's how people go home with missing limbs, permanently disabled, or don't make it home at all. And that will be a direct result of forcing someone into a trade. But like I said, I do like the idea of incentives that wipe away debt for those who are willing to fill positions of need. And this is not just for child support that will be attached to receiving welfare benefits. I think it's a great idea for anyone that owes back child support, back taxes, student loans, big fines or restitution, etc. This should be a way for people to eliminate what would otherwise be an insurmountable debt. I mean, let's be honest. A lot of debts don't get paid because people can't afford to pay them. So it's not like the government gonna see that money anyway. But if you're in need of positions being filled the way the US is in need of more skilled labor, say, hey man, take one of these positions in these fields, and for every dollar you earn at work, we'll knock 50 cents off the debt that you owe us. Oh, people will be flocking to training centers. They'll be flocking to trade schools to take care of that. And they'll go to work wanting to be at work because it benefits them tremendously. Not only are they earning a good wage, they're actually knocking off debt. Now they're actually seeing a future in front of them. But that's just my opinion. Now, let's talk about incentives to marry. I think before we look to incentivize marriage, we must first take away the incentives that currently encourage divorce. To me, this is a simple addition by subtraction situation. Make it to where the person that files for divorce automatically has the burden of alimony placed on them, and see how quickly divorce rates drop. Does not matter if you make more money than that person or not. You filed, you're going to support them financially. That's too harsh? Okay, cool. Take away the ability for child support to be used as a weapon. Lower the federal percentage cap to about 15 to 20% instead of the up to 65% that it's at now. And make that payment based on the median income of the county that they reside in. For some, they'll end up paying more, for others less. But that will ensure that the child receives an adequate amount without overcharging the parent responsible for it. Either that or base it off the income of the parent that's asking to receive it. That will ensure that no parent is living off the work of the other, and that both parents have to equally support the child. And if both parties like, yo, we're not feeling it, we need to get a divorce, well, then they file jointly. Split the assets that were acquired during the marriage right down the middle, joint custody of the kids, no alimony, no child support. Boom, simple. Now, let's incentivize marriage. Let's add incentives that will help people build families and stay together as a family unit. Down payment assistance. Let's give newlyweds who are expecting their first child 10% towards the home's cost. Let's eliminate PMI for them. Down payment reimbursement after 5 years of marriage for people who did the Brady Bunch, brought their single parent homes together as one family unit. Make the child tax credit for married couples 2.5, 3 times the amount that it is for those filing single. One-time business grants for couples that's been married at least 5 years, with the amount increasing every year after 5 years, but you can only use it once. This is just what I think, man. Y'all tell me what y'all think about what Killer Mike suggested. Tell me what y'all think about my suggestions. And tell me what y'all suggestions are. Meet me in the comment section.